Thank you for tuning in to Andronicus Radio, gathering as one in our sovereign truth from a galactic perspective, exploring our world with new ideas, knowledge, and a promise of a better future. Galactic discussions for galactic-minded people. Andronicus.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on Andronicus Radio. We're going to have a very interesting show. We have Marcel, Seifert here, as well as Carlos, and we're going to talk about some of the, I thought the topics might be overlapping a bit, so I thought it would be very interesting to have both of them here. So welcome, Marcel. How are you today?
Hello. I'm fine.
Okay, well, thanks for being here. And also, Carlos, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Okay. And I know we kind of pulled this together a little bit, but I think that the research has been going on for a long time, so I think that's going to work out.
Yeah, we can get it done.
We can get it done.
Yeah.
That's right. And we have, interesting information. So, Marcel, why don't you share with us a little bit about some of the things that you're going to bring in?
You said that we are going to start with the sighting in Chile.
Yep, that sounds like a good idea, and we can get right into it. So I'm going to do a shared screen, and so we'll let everyone see what we're talking about, and then you're going to help us with that. So here we go. Here's the sighting in Chile that you were referring to. So when you look at this, when you go back a little bit before he comes in, and there was actually some kind of like stuff going on out here. And you see that? It's almost like a little bit of a shadow. Let's see if I can bring it in a little bit more right there. What are your thoughts on this, Marcel?
Yeah, that was a short time before the UFO started to release something, some kind of trail or smoke, or I don't know exactly what it was.
It's an interesting shape. It doesn't seem like we're seeing the entire portion of it. Seems like there's a little something here, something there, and it could be smoke, or it could be something coming off of it, or it could be partially cloaked.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense? The shape seems a little odd to me.
Yeah.
What about the energy field?
Yeah, the energy field, the movement of it was odd as well.
The vibration around it. Maybe we see, the vibration around of the ship.
Yep. Yeah.
That's what the little black around probably is bigger, but we don't see the bigger space. We just see the black spot.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, and I'm trying to see if we can get over here. The object disappeared in the clouds, so it's like partially in the clouds. And I don't want to just play through the whole video because it's someone's video, but
What year was this?
that's what I was gonna look at.
In 2015, if I remember this correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. 2015.
And I guess
Okay.
the footage was made by, the video was made by military helicopter. Yeah.
Here, this was posted in 2017, but let's see what it says here. It doesn't quite say, but it was posted there. Released this 2-year-old footage, so it might have been, yeah, about 2015, as you said. But it was over Chile. I don't know.
They said the Chilean government, yeah.
It is confirmed by the Chilean military. Yeah.
Trying to see if there was any. There's nothing on the ground that you could see the exact location, and I thought you might want to. Have you seen this before, Carlos?
No, I didn't know though.
You've never seen this one before. Okay.
No.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up. He said that we are going to have a conversation together with Carlos. Yeah. I did not know if we've already seen this or not.
And Carlos, feel free to bring in anything that you also recognize. I know that there was a video or something that you sent me regarding a bunch of fish that died.
Right. That happened just a few weeks ago. The scientists, they said about the oxygen on the water drop. That's the reason the fish died, but doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know. Something else happened for sure. I didn't research much about it, but that's what happened.
Yeah, the article looks like it's in Spanish.
It's in Spanish, yeah. I read about it, but basically that's what it is. The scientists said the oxygen on the seawater dropped and the fish die.
Mostly it is caused by sonar. Yeah. By sonar of the military, mostly it's from the United States, but I won't bother anyone.
This is the article. This is it right here. And that just happened, right? 15/02/2021.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've seen this all around the planet all the time in the last years, I guess.
Yeah, it's happening around.
Sometimes it's whales.
I don't think it's the oxygen on the water, but it's been happening.
Oh, maybe they released some acid stuff from boat or from ship. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know, because the oxygen drop, it makes no sense.
I believe the crap like that is being done from the corporations to hurt the people of the country, because the big corporation take over. If the people they see the fishermen, basically they cannot work, so they have, because all of those fish, they are around the coast. If all die, they just big corporation, they just go in the middle of the ocean when it's no law pretty much, and they just take it over, and they hurt the people of each country doing that. Corporations.
Yeah. These are the things that we're looking at, but it's still unexplained things that are happening that we're not hearing what's going on, but we're seeing the results of what is happening here, and you could see how many. And we have the same phenomenon happening with birds too. And it's the frequencies, the scalar, it's all sorts of stuff, as well as these 5G chemtrails that have these high metal content and other things that are causing nature to react. This is a really interesting video that Marcel shared with us, and it's reptilian humanoids, anthropomorphic, reptiles appear in folklore, fiction, and conspiracy theories. So it's reptilian lizard money and alien demon bills of Swiss Templar Nazi banks of Switzerland. I guess we're not supposed to say the word, but you get. It's an image of a green reptilian on their paper bills. So let's share this, and then we can talk about it. So let's.
I already showed you.
So we're looking at this comparison of money. Is this all Swiss money right here, or what? What kind of?
That's all the paper bills. The front side. That's the front side. Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Interesting is the back side. Or more interesting.
Yeah, because these are significant people that they had on the front. Maybe leadership, or I don't know. Are they inventors or something?
A film or two, several.
Okay, we'll get this. We'll hear what they have to say.
Swiss money, but I discovered now something that is huge. So I showed you my other films, the aliens here, the octagon symbol.
Oh my gosh! I mean, look at that. Can't be any more obvious. That's right.
There are many more here. The DNA helix. This is the dollar, the $1, the famous $1 bill, to have a comparison. I want you to watch carefully the 50 francs bill. This is amazing. There's also a guy who made a very good video about the old 10 francs or franken, the franken bill from the 70s, where it's already showing Nibiru and planets. There's a guy who made a very good video about this. I think he's an American guy. You can find it in YouTube. So watch the 50 francs bill very carefully. There's also a 200 franc bill and a 1,000 franc bill. Maybe you can look it up yourself in Google Images and analyze it, because I really don't see everything. It's so much and it's so hidden. Now watch this very carefully. It's green. Is that a lizard with his eyes there? And a lot of sixes and a vortex coming out of its mouth.
Yep.
So here it is again on Google Images. I tell you all folks, in Switzerland there's something terribly wrong. And its people don't behave as normal human beings should. Inhuman and cold are their crimes against humanity throughout history. And their sly financial institutions rule the world. Yes, the inhabitants of Octagon literally worship money and gold. So no wonder that on their token of worship for more disturbing proofs, symbols and strange entities can be found of a world we humans have no idea about. And also this is hidden, as everything is hidden in Octagon. I looked at this Swiss 50 francs or 50 franken bill hundreds of times, at least, and didn't see it until yesterday, when I was tired and looked at this image in the internet with a different intensity probably, and then I saw it.
A lot of people don't see the things that are right in front of them, and it's the masses. They can't see it until it's almost like the veil comes off of them, and then it starts to make sense. But otherwise, even when it's right in front of them, they don't see it. And even with people looking at this, they're gonna, like those that are closed-minded or they still have that veil of illusion, or they say we have illusion, but I mean, they're not going to see this. They're going to say that it's read into, but like, I mean, look at these swirls. What's the purpose of this other than it's depicting a vortex? It doesn't make any sense in the design. And also, children are accustomed to seeing eyes looking at them like this. So, and a round nose like that. And I think maybe we've been trained to look at things and get accustomed to the appearance and not question what it is. What do you think, Marcel?
I always say the best thing to cover something up is to put it right into your face. Or in
Yeah.
front of your face. Yeah. If you remember the movie Close Encounter of the Third Kind, yeah.
Yeah.
Back in 1978, yeah, when at the end of the movie the UFO is landing and all the abductees are coming out of the UFO from the First World War and from the Second World War, they're still wearing their uniforms. I mean, it can't get any better. That was 1978.
Right. And they're trying to, they have it right in front of us. And people are just like, well, it's fantasy because it's on television or it's in a movie.
You just have to write science fiction below, yeah, and then it's okay. It's some kind of soft disclosure called now, yeah.
Yeah. I think Peter the Insider is really good at pointing out all of the soft disclosure that's all around us, and particularly used with video games because it does target the next generations, which they're trying to already embrace and conform to what they want them to believe or to accept and see as normal. So that's why it shouldn't be discarded, but this is what got us in trouble in the first place, and the reason why a lot of people are still, blindfolded in a lot of ways is because anything, even if we had some kind of miraculous event of ETs showing up, people would think it was a stage show or or some kind of movie set or something. I don't know if a lot of people would actually believe it. It's crazy. What do you think, Carlos?
Well, I believe it's part of the occult, part of the hiding thing, showing you. So they show you. If you don't see it, you're the dumb person, So they basically clean the karma in some way, and also the programming it's behind. I see the reptilian in that part of. You can see a bird, like a owl or something too. I see
owl,
those
yeah.
too.
Like
Yeah, I see the owl
eyes.
and the snake part of the kind of like the same part of the snake that you can see in the Vatican. That's what I see in the bill.
The
That
Vatican,
bill.
yeah.
And the other bill looks like pre-Adamites, The tall ones, the blue ones. I don't know, just kind of like that. The other bill,
that was this group right here. This one right here.
The first one, right.
Yeah.
The blue one, you can see.
They're looking like me, Slender Man.
Yeah, they look like Slender Man. Yeah, definitely.
I'm 6'8" and 90 kilos, so I'm very slim.
Wow, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're not Slender Man, thank God, or else we wouldn't be talking to you.
Me either.
I only look like one.
Here is the reptilians, and this is a little statue I've seen. This is part of the artifacts that they have.
Yes.
I'm not sure exactly where they found it, but
I think in Iraq. That one came from Iraq, I believe.
That makes sense. Yep.
From Sumer or something. That the first one that they have.
Here's another bill right here. And there's the owl that you talked about.
Yeah,
Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's part of the
Moloch.
Moloch, yeah, the Moloch worship. Let's see what he has to say on this one. Let's see. I think that goes into.
bills. The owl, one of the symbols of the Freemasons, the star of the hexagram, and this is fleur de lis, symbol of the fair aristocracy. And there's much more to see.
And it's few stars there. It's few. It's not just one.
There are old
Yeah.
50 francs with
It's kind of like the David star,
owl,
basically.
symbol of the Freemasons, the hexagon in it. And this is fleur de lis, the symbol of the fair aristocracy. Some claws. This is their older 10 francs of Switzerland. 10 francs bill with the Nibiru in it and planets. We should see the other side as well.
Looks like a universe map.
Yeah, it does. You know, you
It
can
looks
see
like
like
a
it feels like
map on the universe or something. Yeah, like planets. Like you can see
planets.
something there.
Yeah, and almost like, you know, the rotation of
Constellation
the
or something.
planets. Yeah. And then here's another like mini, there's a few of these little circular things, but it reminds me of the crop circles as well that we're going to get to. Let's see what he says.
And there's much more to see on their paper bills, I'm sure. In Octagon, in the Alps, the country of stealth and the occult or hidden behind clean, sly and sterile diplomacy. I apologize to y'all for not seeing this reptilian before, but it's also hidden behind the lies. There's so many things to see and I just don't see it all.
You see the sun right here? Do you guys see that?
Yeah.
This looks like, I don't know, is that a sword? Not sure what that is.
It looks like a sword, yeah.
Yep. And this, I don't know why, I was thinking of the collider. This also too, I'm not sure if that's, is that a bank or a facility or something up here?
Right. Looks like the typical castle, Rothschild castle, something. A little bit.
And that looks like musical notes, some sort, right here. See that?
Yeah.
So here's another old 100 francs where they show the octagon in the middle.
Right here. Center.
And here another old 1,000 francs.
Look at that.
Sweats.
That's an interesting shape right here, isn't it? I mean, what is this?
Yeah.
Underground
Like a
facility?
collider or something.
Almost a
Top looks
spacecraft?
like the top. Yeah, the top looks like the top of the water tower in Mannheim that we've seen last time.
Okay.
Right, yeah. Or maybe like a Vimana or UFO. I don't know.
Yeah. And this over here too looks like some kind of industrial plant here.
Yeah.
Maybe electromagnetic or
Like electronic plant or something.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like Antarctica in the back, basically.
Antarctica,
I mean, it looks like,
yes.
yeah. Looks like cold or Siberia or whatever. I don't know. It just like looks cold or icy.
I don't know. I had a quick glimpse, and these almost reminded me of skulls down here, really quick. But it might not be. It just might be a rotation type of thing going on there, or a drilling going down into the earth. Yeah, let's see what he says. Look at this.
Here's another older 1,000 francs.
Bugs.
Today's 1,000 francs. Oh, weird stuff on it.
It looks like Roman, Greek.
It's a man, part man. Oh.
It's part man, part something else. Snake.
Today's 200 francs. There's also part of the 200 francs the other side. Some older 100 francs. And it's today 100 francs as I showed you before.
Octagon.
Weird creatures here. Here, one of their old 50s. With some funny Babylonian creature. a human head.
Hybrid creature.
So if you punch 50 Franken in Google Images, a whole lot of them pop out. So maybe someone else will feel inspired to make a video with real creepy music and special effects about the Swiss reptilian money. Evil in the Alps is very real, and in Octagon, evil gets worshipped.
Okay. And let's see, I think he goes on into, what's this right here?
Lizard money from Octagon. Compared to this, the dollar looks quite innocent.
Not quite.
And even the sweets, the candy comes in a octagon-shaped box.
Unbelievable.
All the Red Cross and the Swiss flag, look at it. It all comes with a cross in it. Templar sweeties.
The box is interesting.
Even the color, to me, you know, the red and white basically is the Templar color, the blood.
Yeah.
The white. Everything is symbology, the cult.
Okay, so this is, we're going to go on to the next thing. Any last thoughts on the other one? Marcel?
Okay.
No.
Okay. We're going to move forward now. You're going to have to explain to us what this is because it's not in English. And something about the KGB.
Okay, that was, this is a map or a card drawing that got in the hand of the Russians at the end of the Second World War or after the end. And this map or drawing shows and talks about secret German submarines. They were able to dive deeper than the normal submarines, and they were constructed to reach an entrance to an underground base in Antarctica. Because with the normal German submarines these days, you couldn't reach them, and they were called the cows. Yeah, Kühe in German.
What year was this? So look at, they bring up Asgard right there. I mean, it's not.
That the drawing must have been made by the Nazis in the 30s or 40s. Yeah.
Wow. And this was after World War II that it got into the hands of the Russians. Okay.
Yes.
Just to prove all of this stuff has been going on.
They have forgotten. They have forgotten maybe to destroy some documents before we were beaten by the Russians or by the Allies.
Yeah. That's good. We'll just allow it to roll because if I have it run, I'd rather that you just fill us in with what's going on, Marcel.
Yeah, I was showing this report to one of my friends, Russian researcher by the name of Paul Stonehill. Maybe you know him. Yeah.
No, I'm not familiar with him, but
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell us. And he's a researcher in what way?
He's living in the States for a long time. I guess he's the most famous Russian researcher in history and ufology. And maybe you know his colleague by the name of Philip Mantel. They wrote one or two books together.
Okay.
And he's got his own channel on YouTube, Paul Stonehill. and he was also speaking on many conferences in the United States, mostly about the Russian UFO cases, because the Russians are treating this subject way more open than other countries do, yeah?
Yes, they are. Yes. Mm-hmm. And that's why they're smart. They know what's going on because we keep on.
They are releasing all this stuff to the public, to the Russian public. It's not that they are hiding all this stuff like it's done in the US and other countries, yeah?
Right.
And they're treating all this UFO subject very openly.
Yep. So, yeah, and it's a shame. And it puts us behind. I mean, it doesn't help us at all by hiding everything. And the U.S. is going to look very foolish.
Yeah, after the fall of the Iron Curtain, so to say.
Yeah. Let's take a look at that map right there. What's
George Knapp went to Russia and met there with some ufologists, and it was in the early 90s.
Can you tell us what we're looking at here? So this is supposed to be Antarctica, right?
That's the map of the Antarctic, and probably the right side shows one of the. I can't see this because my screen is that small at the phone, and I guess the right side shows one of the tunnels or the entrances to the that could be reached from the coast.
I see.
With these special submarines, yeah. I guess they were able to dive about 300 meters, and the normal German submarines, they were only able to dive about 180 meters. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, they're showing how deep it is underneath the ice. So, okay, and would it help if I played it so you can hear it and then you can hear what they're saying? Is it in German? Or
the most important things I already said. Yeah, my friend Paul Stonehill said he does not trust this guy because he's from the Russian military, yeah, and he believes probably that this map is a created hoax. But as always, we never know, yeah.
Yeah, well, it could be anything could be a hoax, but it does look like it's well printed. It looks somewhat faded, so whoever did it, if they did try to create something, they had to make it look aged to a certain degree. There are some swastikas in here, which look like they were from the original print. And we'll just keep on looking and move it along and see if we can get some more shots of this map here. He has a picture of a bunch of military seated, and there's one female seated in the front row.
Yeah, just like we had the project Paperclip, where many German scientists were moved over to the United States. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, we had a program where some of the German scientists were taken to Russia and went ahead working there. Yeah. So it's not that they were all moving to the United States.
No, they were going to a few different locations. Here's a ship. It's actually a carrier, and they're showing someone flying off of that.
That may be from the Operation High Jump. I don't know.
Okay. And like I said, it's in another language, so I can't quite read it. Let's see. Well, we can play this part right here and see if we can hear what he's saying.
Эти записи, даже вот его, в принципе, почерком сделаны пометочки, кто здесь располагается. То есть, насколько я понимаю, вот именно вот эти люди...
Yeah, so it's in Russian, it sounds like. Maybe we can have one of our Russian friends read through this and get back to us regarding some of the details. But it's a very, very interesting article. And you're right, it's unfortunate. I wish that other nations would be more forthcoming about what's happening out there. So we're going to move on to the next recommended video, and we have here's the interesting one I was looking at today. There's alien artifacts discovered underneath crop circles. And this was in Germany, found in Grassdorf, in Germany in 1991.
Yeah.
By a farmer by the name of Werner Harrenberg, who woke up early in the morning on July 23rd, 1991 to discover Germany's first really spectacular crop circle near the village of Grassdorf, Lower Saxony, in the historic Teutoburger Wald area, not far from Hanover, and indeed not far from the prehistoric site of Exterstein. Part natural rock, part carvings, caves, and bearing various signs of what seem like long and varied religious practices, seeing that the straws were unbroken, as it were harmoniously bended, and stated much as if they have not been made by amateurs, and had recently allegedly been a play further north in Schleswig-Holstein. And taking advice from the experienced landowners there, he charged visitors €5 and €3 or something.
5
Okay.
German marks or €3.
Deutschmarks, is that how you say it?
Yeah. And
Okay.
I've got another text here that I could read to this case. In the Grassdorf crop circle in Germany, 1991, 3 metal discs were found buried underneath it. A farmer named Werner Harrenberg woke up early in the morning of July 23rd, 1991, and discovered Germany's first really spectacular crop circle near the village of Grassdorf. Under the crop circle, they unearthed 3 metal discs that had pictographs of the crop circles they were buried under engraved onto them. On one of the plates was made of gold. The other was silver and the other was copper. That added credibility to it for me, because that gold disc would be worth more than any amount of money they would have made of the hoax.
Yeah. I mean, it was very strange. I mean, you listen to this is an excellent video, by the way. I was listening to it. And they show how they differentiate between man-made ones and other ones, that they show that there's definitely some type of, they can check by the analysis and the way that the plant is bent. They could see these nodes that appear when it's done from another source other than man-made. Humans can do this, but the outcome is not similar. This is more exact, and you can see it's very detailed, and it appears overnight. So I know that there's a lot of controversy over these things. I don't know why. I mean, to me, it just they look like there are some kind of weird messages. And from what I understood, according to the video, it was almost like a half circle with a full circle in the center. It's almost like a backwards question mark in this case. This one is like a kind of just a U going around it. And these are the locations where they found the discs. So those are 3 locations.
Yeah.
And that's what I understood. Is that correct?
Yes.
So, and so, you know, they discuss that they have a lot of scientists. This is the scientist right here. He
One of my
goes.
colleagues by the name of Michael Hazelman, and I was talking a couple of years ago to him about this case, yeah. And he told me that 2 of these metal plates that they found were molten.
Wow.
And the other one, the third one, was sold to someone, but he doesn't know who this guy is or where this guy is. Yeah.
So they weren't able to analyze the third one?
They weren't able to analyze these other 2 because they were molten in. This sounds really strange to me. I don't know if this is true. That's what Michael told me. Yeah.
So do you think that they were already replaced and someone had made them into a molten, like a mold, or do you think that these were the original ones?
These were the original ones. They made from these 3 discs. They made 200 copies. Yeah. And
Okay.
that's all we have. That's all we have.
But they said that the value
but
of
not
each one was incredible, right?
They
Because of
made the copies are not from gold and not from silver.
no, the original ones. The original ones had a high value.
You can go to the scene where they show these discs that they found underneath. Yeah, and they weren't small. They were really large.
So like a plate.
Heavy.
Yeah.
They had about maybe 2 kilos or 3 kilos. I don't know exactly.
I'm gonna get to here's what they look
That's
like.
the golden one. Yeah.
Here you can see someone holding them. It looks like they're heavy too.
Yeah, for sure. It's gold. It's very heavy.
Was it solid gold, or were there other trace?
The gold and the silver and the copper, they were of a quality from gold that we can't reproduce today until this day. Yeah, they were 99.9, I don't know, percent pure. And they did a dating on with I don't know, with isotopes or something like that, and they came to the conclusion that they were constructed in the 1700s.
And you say cobalt? Is that correct?
Cobalt?
Did you say it had cobalt in it too?
No.
Okay. Copper? So you said
the third disc was made of a high quality of copper, I guess. Yeah.
Copper. Okay.
One was gold, one was silver, and the other one was copper, I guess. Yeah.
So that has a meaning in itself, right? The 3. The biblical references to time periods is a gold period, a silver period, and a copper period.
And there must have been someone in the 1700s that had better abilities to manufacture this stuff than we have today. Yeah.
Yeah, we've not progressed in some ways. We've gone backwards.
I'm not saying that it's been aliens or I don't know who these guys were. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they did see. Well, here's like there's this 3. It looks like crafts in the sky.
Okay.
Did you see? Do you remember that part?
Oh, okay.
Let's see. I'm gonna see what he has to say here. We'll just play this.
Showing itself on the planet.
Is an alien power drawing messages on a canvas of grain? Are these circles an elaborate global hoax? Our story of the latest development in this mystery begins on the morning of July 20th, 1991, when jogger Hans Slan discovered these patterns carved into the wheat fields of Grasdorf, Germany. 150 feet long and 50 feet wide, they were inscribed with ancient symbols that appeared to be in the lost Celtic language.
This is a message. This is indeed a message by a non-human intelligence.
After receiving a telephone tip, local journalist Claudia Brew was one of the first investigators to arrive on the scene. She immediately ordered a series of aerial photographs for analysis.
They were just huge. They were really amazing because they were so huge, and I first thought it couldn't be a human being doing this. If it's a human being having done this, it's a genius, really, because I think it was about 100 meters long, and the circles were exactly made, and it was really beautiful.
Our investigative team invited German researcher and author Michael Hessemann to analyze the origins of the grass-dwarf circles.
So I'll let people can listen to this. I don't know how much I can actually share without it being a problem.
That's one of my colleagues that I just said.
This is Michael is one of your colleagues.
Yeah, that's he's retired now. He's not doing anything anymore. And like I already said what he told me.
Yeah. No. So that's a very, very interesting topic, and there's a lot to be said about many of them that have showed up, and many of them have had these interesting messages. I've always been fascinated with them, and they're just like amazing to look at. I don't know what the farmers feel like when they wake up and their crops are, have these images on them.
I guess you heard some kind of a humming sound outside. Yeah.
Who the gentleman that discovered it?
Yeah.
While he was going for a walk or jog.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so anyone else have anything to share, or should we just move on to the next?
I just wanna add something on the research that I done on the UFO. When you show the picture of the 3 UFO, sometimes it's just one big one, and they show you 3 lights or 6 lights or whatever.
Oh,
just to show you where they're coming from. Like those 3 maybe can come from Orion.
Orion.
You see it?
Yeah. So it could be actually, like you're saying,
three
it
lights.
could be one craft or like,
right.
Yeah.
And they just show you, point lights, like can be 5 or can be 4. Those 3 can look like Orion constellation. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they often fly in the constellation like we see it from here in the 3, like the pyramids were built. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's Marcel this is your testimony.
Oh.
Right?
That was my interview
with Mr. and Mrs. Smith
in October. Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll have you share your testimony with us sometime as well. But just we'll have this there, and for people we'll have that in the links. Unless you want to share your testimony now, Marcel, it's up to you.
You want me to talk about the case, what happened over Mannheim, the year when I was born, or?
Sure. Yeah. Why don't you share that?
That's the other video, the alien contact.
The alien contact. This one, right? Alien contacts UFO secret feature film.
It starts at 58 minutes, point 38.
Okay, so we'll
58.38. We can play the first minute or the first 2 minutes, maybe. Not a problem, I guess.
Okay, so let me just share that.
UFOs, because these people come from worlds where they believe in the meaning and essence of life. They don't believe that something else, whether it's a future or anybody else, is responsible for their actions. They are responsible for their actions. And so this type of information is what people tend to attack on Adamski. And he was not attacked by the officials as vehemently as he is by the rest of the people in the UFO field, because they feel threatened by the type of information he gave them.
Oh no.
In September 1967, Steckling himself had a spectacular UFO sighting.
In 1967, my father, mother, and I were on lecture tour in Germany, and we were traveling from Mannheim on the train, and we witnessed, along with the passengers on board this train, a armada of what we would call spacecraft or UFOs appearing and disappearing above the train, I'd say around 10,000 feet. And my father, with his 8mm camera, filmed the sequence of these craft, and as the film rolls, you can see the crafts appear and disappear in formation, and you can see the motion of the trees moving by as the train is in motion, so the craft are behind the trees, not in front of it. And quite an interesting piece of film. It was reported in the newspaper the next day, the German newspaper for that particular area.
On our way back from Schifferstadt to Frankfurt, we were able to film a whole armada of spacecraft flying over, I would say, very close to the, and very near to the Frankfurt airport.
Okay, so it's near the airport. And why don't you tell us what happened with you? How old were you about that time?
That was in the year before I was born.
Okay. So, do you think they brought you in?
I came across this case about 5 years ago, yeah. That was 30 years after I started my research, yeah. And I thought, now it's all making sense to me, yeah. Why I'm doing all this, and probably they somehow had an influence on my existence here. I don't know. Huh?
Yeah. I'm going to see if you can see that armada. That armada is quite interesting to look at because it's quite a lineup of let's see if I can slow it down, and because there's another ship too that they're showing.
I mean, my mother is a really tiny person. Yeah, she's 1 meter and 57. I don't know what it is in foot, 5 foot, and I don't know. So I have sent a picture to you for me next to my mother. It's funny.
That you're incredibly tall and you don't look like you come from your mother. Is that what you're saying?
She's somewhere where my navel is.
So she's about 5 foot what?
I don't know. It's 1 meter and 57. It's half a meter smaller than I am. Yeah, it's about that much.
It's about 5 feet.
Yeah,
it's about 5 feet.
Say, they went with the footage to NASA. Yeah, and NASA told them what these are, how they fly, and with what they fly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
try to get it so
that was nothing new to them. They already knew what these are, yeah, and they told this woman what they are and how they fly and with what kind of propulsion system they are flying, yeah. So and that was not.
But the military didn't claim ownership of them.
No, I guess no.
But it was near the airport.
Yeah.
But there's another vehicle that they talk about earlier here. It's this black one. It's large. Let's see if we got this.
The Dembski case, this George Dembski.
How well this formula worked out. It's a triangular formula. The focal length of the camera was 9 millimeters. The distance was 90 feet. The size of the image was 2.7 millimeters.
That one looks like the Glocke one.
Yeah, that looks German to me.
What is over in? That one was all.
like the Haunebu or the Friel ones that
The Friel one.
Nazi constructed. They're Friel or Haunebu.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can...
Or the size of the object had to be 27 feet. You'll find this in Timothy.
And this is it right there.
Independently of terrestrial gravitation.
See if we can get this to... Oh, didn't like that.
And all the necessary...
He was a colleague of mine. He died 2 years ago, but I'm still befriended with his son.
This gentleman right here in the blue suit?
No, the guy before. He was invited in the 90s and was speaking on a German TV show together with Eric von Däniken and other guys, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Eric, we're back talking about Eric von Däniken again.
He was a friend of mine for a couple of years, but he died from cancer, I guess 2 years ago, but I'm still befriended with his son. His second name is Exler. That was the guy we have seen before this guy.
Okay. Well, let's see what's...
kind of faking this movie film sequence. Madeline Rodefer was a medical secretary or a nurse at the United States Government Air Force. Madeline Rodefer presented a movie film at the Air Force. I think so, that was the Project Blue Book. When that would be fake, I don't believe that an employee of the government would show a fake movie film to the really high authorities of the United States Air Force and the Project Blue Book, where are real professional people, an expert on the motion picture film and especially on the amateur film.
Right, this is the part.
Bob Oechsler, a robotics engineer and former mission specialist of the NASA Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland, is also convinced of the Rodefer film's authenticity. He believes the flight pattern indicates an energy field which enables the disk to maneuver independently of terrestrial gravitation.
There it is. I mean, it's...
That's Mr. Exler, one of my former friends.
Yeah. And here's another craft. Let's see if we can get that.
There were many attempts to discredit him, all of which I feel have successfully failed. First of all, they try to debunk his pictures and cannot do so successfully. They've claimed they were water coolers, and that was proven wrong. They tried to say they were models, that was proven wrong. They've been orthographically projected, biomedically.
There it is. Did you see that? Did you see the... You guys can't see. They actually had... It definitely looked like the Vril vehicle. Let's see if I could find... It's really tricky to find that one. There was like a display there. And I think it was right before here.
Yeah, this is my most favorite channel. OTV.
Say that again?
This is for my most famous channel that's called UFO TV.
Yeah. It looks like it's got some interesting footage.
That we were getting the sort of a haze, a very, very distinct, fine haze around and very, very close to the craft itself through the images, suggested that there was an actual radiation effect. Almost, I guess you could liken it to a mirage effect. People are fairly familiar with when you ride down the highway during the summer, and you look across and you can see the heat rising, and it tends to distort images that were behind the mirage. Well, this is very similar to the effect that we saw on this object, suggesting several things. One, that you were actually looking at a three-dimensional object as something that was superimposed onto the film. That, again, suggested credibility with regard to the film. And secondly, it suggested that there was technology associated with it. This was not just, you know, a trash can lid or something that was just casually thrown up in the air while filming was going on. So began to become much more encouraged with what I was seeing. The more I began to look into the individual segments, the film itself, the motion, we began to see things that you might liken to a distortion. In other words, the craft itself physically changed shape. Now, not the whole craft, but it seemed that portions of the craft changed shape. Now, this was a product either of what you might call an optical illusion as a result of the technology associated with the craft, the method that it used to maintain its levitated state to violate gravity, or it was a mechanical apparatus associated with the craft itself. We noticed that the ball structure in the bottom of the craft, in concert with the receding of these individual structures, that the one portion of the craft had an indentation that would go in every time this one ball would go up, and then it would come back out into a round disc or circular area. So I think that these features all collectively, more than anything else, and even more than the testimony of Madeline Rotifer herself and the historical testimony of George Adamski prior to his death regarding this particular event, all tend to suggest that we are probably dealing with an authentic case, and I think it's time that perhaps some researchers of historical value would probably want to go back and take a much closer look at the George Adamski case in its entirety.
There were many.
Here's another one.
This photo was taken over Texas in the same year, or over Lake Onega in Russia in 1978. These films were shot in 1980 over Hagen in the Ruhr area of Germany. This film with
those were the long tube-like structures, in case you didn't see what we were looking at.
1978 was the year when Fred Valentich disappeared with his plane after he reported a UFO sighting in Australia. 1980, we also had the Bentwater case that everyone knows, the Rendlesham Forest, where they had two sightings in 2 days after another, around Christmas in 1980.
There's a lot that happened in the 70s. There was something that opened up in the 70s.
In 1977, we had the case in Brazil where over a few months, unknown flying objects appeared and were shooting at the population of a village. And they even called the military in after a few weeks of these sightings because a few people were killed by the beams that they were shot by.
Yeah, and then they.
In the 90s, the main investigator and the leader of this military team that they sent came forward, and a few months after he committed suicide. Yeah.
It's devastating to people that have these experiences, are ridiculed for seeing it because you want to report it. You know that there are repercussions to some of these visitors. Some of them have been here for a long time and were here before even humanity was here. But then there are those that were visitors here, and then abductions and other things that are not so friendly occur. And so people are trying to warn the public, and then they're not allowed to for whatever reason. And it perpetuates. Now we have a whole generation of many people that have been exposed to abductions and my labs and other things because people are refusing to say anything. And to try to help, I try to help and protect people, to pull themselves out of these circumstances. But the lack of information has created more problems. And that's the part that I'm struggling with. And I know that walking on thin ice and having these discussions publicly, but I think with everything else going on in the world, it's like the pink elephant in the room. I mean, we need to just acknowledge it and get over it and grow up. You know, whatever the actual issue is, they need to deal with it. I mean, in some ways, they've you know, our governments, you know, are pretty much assuming that we're halfway dead anyhow with you know, the virus and all these other incidences, and they kind of are not caring in many ways. So, I mean, what the hell? Let us talk about the things that we already know about, and just leave us alone then. If you don't, you're going to disregard our well-being, you know, give us a chance to talk about the things that we know are happening. I guess I had to get that off my chest.
That much evidence now that we have, yeah, when people are asking me, oh yeah, that's only fantasy stories and there is no evidence, and I'm telling them I've got tons of evidence.
Yeah, we do. And of course, I mean, that's fine if the public doesn't want to believe, but the other part of the public does. And like I said, let's, you know, it's time to grow up and not make a big deal over it and just say, all right, so we have, you know, guests. We have people that have been here, entities or other species that have been here, and we can grow up and get over it. And, you know, it was shocking to me. Not shocking, but I mean, Elon Musk was on, I think, I don't know, Joe Rogan, and he was asking him about extraterrestrials. Now he's talking about going to Mars and taking all these trips and all his big satellites, and he's Mr. Futuristic, but then he denied the ETs. So it's obvious that he's been coached of what he can talk about, what he can't talk about. Why is it okay to talk about Mars and the secret space program, but not okay to talk about the ETs that taught us how to go into space? You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, because this spacecraft right here, this real spacecraft, or the Glocke, or whatever you want to refer to it as, was, you know, engineered, you know, from, and it was instructed by extraterrestrial life. So yeah, it doesn't make any sense at all, and I'm hoping that we can get past a lot of this.
The problem is still the programming with the TVs, the movie, the Hollywood, and everything else. That's what will still divide us, the people that talk about UFO and what's really happening, to the people that they are not awake and just still seeing the movies from Hollywood and everything is fake. We just basically are the monkeys, and Earth is the only thing that is, you know, around. Nothing else.
But meanwhile,
just movies.
Even though the movies, though, that it's still making people realize that, you know, that it does make sense. So even though they turn it into a movie, and so, you know, Hollywood creates all our reality, as if, you know, the grass doesn't exist until Hollywood decides to show us. You know, I mean, it's a ridiculous concept. And so we can't believe in anything unless Hollywood has to display, oh, this is what you need to believe, or this is what we're going to tell you that everything's artificial because we can create it on a screen. So there's a few different ways to look at it. But, you know, people are trying to define our reality according to what they see in Hollywood, or whether or not now everything's fake because Hollywood can do it. And that conversation became a major argument at the time of Stanley Kubrick when he did Space Odyssey 2000 and was it 2001?
Yeah, 2001.
2001 Space Odyssey, and everyone's like, well, he can create the moon landing. That must all be fake then. And I said to Peter, I said, Peter, was that real footage that he used? And he said, yes. He said, but you can't talk, you know, that people won't believe it.
But so, Hollywood's still playing on the background even till today, with the you know, what is happening in the White House. Basically, I don't know if you saw some pictures. I mean, I'm jumping completely out of the topic, but it's still Hollywood in the back. You know, all the Castle Rock, Biden filming, and signing the executive orders and all this stuff. Looks like it's been done in Hollywood, not in the White House. Something's going on there.
Werner von Braun was talking several times with Walt Disney before the moon landings.
Yeah, I know. And so here's like the place where that, you know, this is the Glocke, and you know, they had, this could be clear evidence of the secret space program of the NAZIs, and you know, the stuff exists. Here is the Tool Society, and it would spin, you know, it would move. We don't know all the different, some people do, I guess. Here's information on the Vril, and that's and you know, I have recollection of being a part of this. This is how I got involved, is having a regression and literally seeing myself amongst the Vril and being used for some of their agendas. And so, you know, I know this stuff is very real, and I also know that they were, some of the things that they were doing. And you could see this thing, this vehicle would literally levitate. This is time travel. This is the Nazi bell, and you know, that's some of the things that they've been doing and have been time traveling in our history or in our future for quite some time now. So
in 1965, something came down in the city of Kecksburg, Pennsylvania, that looks similar to the Nazi bell. Yeah.
Yeah, that was 1965.
1965.
I think that one was
yeah.
before Roswell, I think, right? That one in Pennsylvania?
1965, Kecksburg, Pennsylvania. UFO, that's enough, then it pops up. Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it or not.
I can't see it.
This is a space acorn, they're calling it.
There were strange writings out on top of it.
Yep, yeah, that's this. There's a vehicle.
Some symbols. After it crashed, the military came for sure and taking it away.
Yep, yeah, you can see the industrial vehicles pulling away. It almost looks like it's golden color.
They reconstructed it in the United States. You have the project Paperclip.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was flying through time to the United States in 1990. I don't think so.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
So we're going to go on to, all right, so we're going on to the next topic. And so the city of Mannheim, where you're from, Mannheim, Germany.
Yeah.
And you have a shape of a skull, and then you have the city is shaped like a skull.
When you look from an aerial view, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And tell us why do you think that happened? Why did it?
That's called Secrets Hidden in Plain Sight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there's a whole series of videos. It's 32 videos, and when you watch this in one, this is 3.5 hours, and I already sent the link to you, to this video. It's called Secret Hidden in Plain Sight. And this is very important for everyone to watch, I guess, because it's not only Mannheim, it's everywhere you look. It's London, it's New York, yeah. they have all these jet pillars, what they are called, standing in these city, Rome, for example. Yeah? They are all constructed in a specific, after specific, how can I say that, in a specific way. Yeah? All these cities. Like we've seen this water tower area last time, yeah. Similar to the Vatican also.
Yeah.
And it's all the same secrets constructed by the same secret societies that we all know, yeah. And they are spread all around the planet.
So that they may, the symbology seen from the skies kind of reminds me of the Nazca symbols and how that they would identify certain locations. So they were intended to be viewed from the aerial point for landing purposes or to identify specific locations that had other things going on.
Yeah, probably. And like I told you last time, the Manhattan was the system of Manhattan with all these streets and avenues. It is a copy of the city center of Mannheim. Yeah. It also sounds similar, Mannheim and Manhattan.
Yeah. And then there was also the Manhattan Project too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But this also brought up, reminded me of, I had a private session with an individual I was looking at his past life, and this guy was someone that was in the radio industry. He was actually a professor teaching people how to be professional newscasters and so forth, and he decided to do a blog talk show with another friend of mine who was very involved with radio and disclosure and so forth. And at the time, I started looking at it, and he was questioning whether or not I had any psychic ability. And I started seeing him in Nazi Germany at the time, and he was there as, I think he was actually the incarnation of that gentleman who ran the museum. And I saw them with Hitler and Himmler, and they were looking at a crystal skull. And I have the whole story on the video, and I'll probably link that to this if people want to listen to it. It's quite interesting story, but here is, and you knew immediately that this was found in Berlin. And I said it was Wilhelm, and here is the name, Arnold Wilhelm von Bode. And so I didn't know that. I said that the gentleman that ran the museum was named Wilhelm. And so the man, not really trusting my ability, which is fine. I encourage people to look up the things that I see. And he started researching it. And he said, yeah, I found him. He was shocked. And I said, really? It was like, and they were calling this skull actually Wilhelm, and I started communicating with the skull. That was the weirdest part about it. It was a very strange conversation, but it reminds me of and this is in the, you can see all the different this is in the Berlin Crystal Skull German Museum. So it reminds me of this.
Yeah, I wanted to add something to this. Like I said last time, this is 144 squares at the center of Mannheim.
Wow, okay.
We know that 144 is a Fibonacci number, yeah? One of the Fibonacci numbers.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's very specific, and it reminds me how they built Washington, D.C. too, in all those Masonic lines and configurations. Okay, so here I'm going on to the next topic. Here is the Sphinx. Female. Yeah.
That's yeah.
That's in Mannheim as well. Wasserturm.
Yeah, that's the water tower we've seen in our last show. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've only seen the back side. This is the water tower in Mannheim is the main side of Mannheim. Yeah, and in front of the water tower there are two sphinxes. Yeah, this is only one of them. Yeah.
Are they both female? Do they look the same?
Yeah, I guess they're both female.
It's a sort of a hybrid feline.
Yes.
Lion female. Yeah.
Lion with a human head, and it's more Roman style.
Greek, Greco-Roman, yeah.
It's a mixture between, I guess, Greek, Roman, Sumerian, and other cultures. Yeah, they put this, like they all mostly do, they put all this stuff together in one.
Mm-hmm.
And the face looks more like from the Roman Empire.
Yes, yeah. The style and the helmet.
Yes.
Very interesting. The next picture, it's smaller. I can't open it up any larger than this here, but it was a circular thing in the sky that you saw.
Yes.
Yeah, tell us about it.
That was in February 2018. I was standing on a balcony with a friend. Yeah. And the sky was totally clear around. You can see this on the other pictures that I sent you. There was nothing to see. There was no cloud and nothing. And all of a sudden, this round thing, this portal, or looked a bit like a lens, yeah, and these clouds around that fizzled out, yeah. And first I only made a picture because I thought, where's this coming now from? There was nothing a few seconds before. And then this whole cloud started to move down on me. Yeah? And then as it came closer and closer, within maybe 2-3 minutes, it disappeared like it appeared all of a sudden before. Yeah? And I don't know if you can play the video to it. It's on your wall on your Facebook profile. I couldn't do this any other.
Yeah, I don't think I can play that right now from there, but maybe we can figure out a next. That means we'd have to do another show. And let's see if there were. I think there were some other pictures that you had here. This is.
That's one of my favorite. That's my favorite picture.
That one of yeah. This one right here. I don't know if you could see that. It looks like a spacecraft.
No. It's not about this red cloud in the middle. Have a look at the large black cloud to the right side.
Yeah, I see that.
It looks perfectly like a profile of a face. Yeah.
Okay.
And when you look, there's the hair.
Yeah, I can see there's the eyes, the nose, and the mouth.
Yeah. The eye, the nose, the mouth. Yeah. And this is some maybe claim that this is pareidolia, yeah, but it is not. It's not, because this kind of stuff happens to me all the time. Yeah.
Here's another one. Here's another one, and it looks like. Tell us about.
There's another thing. I was here in my garden, yeah, sitting in the summer, and I looked up and I thought, oh no, not again, not again. And in the moment when I clicked, yeah, when I made a photo, 2 birds came flying, and right where the eyes are, can you see that?
Yes, I can.
Where the eyes both are. Yeah. So if anyone would tell me that this is coincidence, I'm only laughing.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I opened up this picture in another browser. Yeah, when these birds became like little balls, and then it perfectly looks like a face of maybe an alien cray or another creature. Yeah. The same. This one is a bit harder to see, but
is it right here? Right here is the face.
Exactly. You can see the nose, yeah.
Yeah, the eyes.
The eyes, and like I told you, this stuff happens all the time to me.
Somebody's watching you.
I just call them multis, yeah, from multi-dimensionals, yeah.
So, oh, that was interesting. Carlos, I know he had quite a display of different images. Is there anything that you wanted to share regarding some of the things that we had there? I'm going to take off the share screen. I think you have to unmute.
My bad. Yeah, I didn't have to admit. Everything was very interesting. Yeah, I can see the faces and everything. Very cool. Yeah. Very cool stuff.
The videos were pretty interesting. I think that there is so much information, more information than people want to admit, that are out there right now, and I just wish that it would be easier. But I guess if not, then we'll just keep plugging away and sharing information as we do.
Right. Continue waking up the people. We need to
Yeah.
do that.
If you've got time, look at this the video that we just had a few looks at with this alien contact, because it also includes the case of Howard Menger, which is very interesting, and all these videos that they have presented on this channel called UFO TV are awesome. Yeah.
Sounds like they have some really interesting information. Where is that based out of? Do you know? Who's the one that created that channel?
Oh, I don't know who the creators are. I'm sorry. But they have a few hundred videos, I guess, on their channel. And they are all really interesting, for sure. I've seen them all.
Yeah, be worth looking at and help everyone to get a little bit more educated.
Yes,
so,
for sure.
I know that it's very late over there, Marcel, and thank you for your time, and thank you, Carlos, for being here.
You're welcome. Yeah, I was not prepared. You just caught me on the gym, but
yeah,
we'll get it done.
That's okay, because I appreciate some of your comments and then
You're
adding
welcome.
to it, and I wanted the two of you to meet. I don't know why, but I felt like there was maybe something to discuss there, and I think it was nice to have someone else reviewing some of these things. Different people bring up different points. One person sees something, another person sees something else, and it makes for an interesting conversation. So
Definitely, yes. Yeah.
So thank you, both of you, and thank you to our audience.
You're welcome.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks. Thank you to our audience, and continue listening. Don't forget to subscribe, and also we appreciate your support. And we're going to continue sharing information as we can.
And the like button. Push the like button.
Push the like.
Yeah.
Right.
Like and subscribe.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Anytime.
You have been listening to Andronitalks Radio. Join us on YouTube channel Jessica Errol Morocco and visit her website at www.readingsbyariel.com.